Reddit tree presents paranormal activities. First event. I think my late father visited us. I wrote this in response to someone's comment on NDE. I lost my father to stage 4 lung cancer in April. After my dad died, I faced continuous panic and anxiety attack. I developed severe OCD about death, became a hypochondriac, and I cannot sleep at night because I'm scared I won't wake up the next day. My life is a mess right now. A few days ago, I was awake until 7 a.m. working on a project that was due at 9 a.m. that day. Around 6 a.m. I had to use the bathroom. The bathroom was next door to my dad's room. I heard some noises coming from my dad's room, but I just assumed it was the wind or something. The second time I went to the bathroom, suddenly I smelled my dad's cologne. This isn't something that my brain was telling me or resulting from stress/anxiety. I know what I smelled, it was real. It was his cologne. I felt so guilty for getting scared and running away to my room. Why did I react like that? I love my dad so much. The weirdest thing happened in the morning. At first I assumed I was being delusional. Suddenly my mom asked me if I went in her room that morning. I told her no, I fell asleep after finishing my project. She told me she felt her door being opened and someone holding on her arms. She said she saw me in a white shirt, but I went to sleep and woke up in a black shirt. She doesn't think it was just a dream because she felt the hand on her arms, like really felt it. Even weirder is that once I told her about my story, she told me she smelled the same cologne and in the same location too. I still have severe death and health anxiety, but in my heart I feel relieved knowing that my father visited us. He visited my mom many times in her sleep and told her he was happy. My story isn't a NDE, and maybe it sounds crazy to others, but I am starting to believe that there's more to what we can see. I want to look upon death as a friend, as the start of a new life rather than keep running away from it. But of course there are days when I keep doubting it too. I even sometimes doubt the experience I just had, but something inside of me knows that it was really my dad visiting us. Wherever he is, I am so happy my father can breathe freely without an oxygen tank. And I'm so happy my father is free from his pain. I'm truly the luckiest girl in the world to have spent 26 blessed years of my life as his daughter. Second event. My close friend purchased a haunted house. I have a close friend who I have been friends with for over 20 years since we were kids. He is very smart, a skeptic, believes in science but never believed in the paranormal or UFOs or anything like that. He always said he will never believe in any of these things until he sees it. After selling his apartment, he was looking to move out of the city and purchase a house. After a few months of looking, he told me he found a house for a really great price and he was very excited to go see this place. So he did, meeting with the real estate agent and doing the tour. He was ready to get the process started. I remember him telling me the price of the property and thinking, that is pretty cheap for acres of land with a 4-bedroom house. I asked him, why so cheap? He kind of laughed and jokingly said, the real estate agent said that the previous owners believe it was haunted. Obviously, with him being a skeptic and non-believer, he told me he was going to purchase it anyways. When purchasing the property, he told me had to sign some sort of waiver where he had to acknowledge the fact that there was a stigma to the property. It does not use the word haunted. Clearly he says yes, he signed it, purchased it, and him and his older brother were going to start renovating it in the coming weeks. As they were renovating, they would hear footsteps above them where no one else was in the house, dogs barking at weird spots and just weird things he just dismissed at first. After fully moving in and spending a few weeks, I asked him if he has experienced anything else. He casually tells me that his dogs would bark at empty spots as if there was someone standing there. I told him, this place has to be haunted. He wasn't ready to believe in it yet. Few months later, he called me one morning and told me he experienced something the night before that he couldn't explain. He tells me he woke up in the middle of the night and noticed one of his dogs that always sleeps in his room jumped out of his bed and ran out of the room. He looked towards the foot of his bed and saw a dark shadow figure just standing there. He panicked to turn on the light, but the figure disappeared. He was clearly weirded out at this point, but he wasn't ready to believe. I told him he is now in denial and he should be worried. A few days later, he calls me again, shook up this time. He tells me he passed out in the couch downstairs in the living room and woke up again to his dog barking towards the end of the hall. He looked down the hall to see a man wear old farm clothing holding a shovel. He freaks out and jumped over behind his couch in panic mode. But once he turned around, the man wasn't there anymore and his dog was running up the stairs whimpering. When he looked at the time, it was 3:33 a.m. I noticed how long this already is, so I will cut it short, but he experienced many weird things after that. It took me about 3 years to visit this place, as it was about 8 hours away by car, then taking the ferry a few times. When I got there and saw the place, as weird as it sounds, it looked haunted. Old looking, dark, and just had that eerie horror movie vibe. I spent 2 nights there. First night, I only heard footsteps but didn't see or feel anything. The second night, I couldn't sleep because I would hear an odd clicking noise coming from the walls. And I felt like someone was in the room with me. I didn't want to wake everyone up, so I just laid there until the sun came up and I passed out. A few weeks ago, his older brother saw a guy with a shovel walk by down the hall and he jumped to go check to find nothing. These experiences are still happening to this day. Last but not the least. Third event. This happened 3 nights ago. I've had weird shit happen to me all my life in the various places I've lived, but not too much has happened in my current place, where I've been for the past 6 years. We have a small hall light that very dimly illuminates the hallway area outside of our bedroom, so we can see our way to the bathroom without tripping over a cat. 3 nights ago, I was laying in bed, reading Reddit in the dark, as usual. Out of the corner of my eye, I see the silhouette of something poke through the bedroom doorway, at head height, and quickly pull back out, as if it saw that I was awake. It didn't look like a human head, but it looked like 2 obtuse triangles lined up next to each other, about 6 inches apart and pointing in different directions. I guess almost like a bizarre video game creature head. Maybe like an X-wing shape, but if the wings weren't all symmetrical. I really don't know how to describe the shape. It was weird. I dropped my phone on my chest and looked over at the door, thinking to myself, did I really just see that? What the fuck was that? The exact moment that I finished my thought, a smoke detector alarm started blaring somewhere in the house. It wasn't close to the bedroom, it was loud, but not super close loud. I froze for a second. My girlfriend woke up, looked at me, and we both jumped out of bed. The moment our feet hit the floor, the alarm stopped. Then, dead silence. No smoke anywhere in the house. All windows closed. And the smoke detectors were all recently upgraded to the new 10-year battery ones, last year. Never had the alarms act up before, haven't had it act up since. Thanks for watching the full video, hope you like it, don't forget to drop a like, catch you in the next one.